Hi there. So today we are going to be preparing for Valentine's Day. And whenever you think about Valentine's Day, what's the word you think about?
Love.
Love. Okay, so, but you know, we in the English language, kind of like I said this last weekend, we only have one word for love to describe I love ice cream. I love a person. I love God. God loves us. And we have a couple here from the parish, Bruce and Carolyn Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk to them about about married love. And I think we'll get a little bit better idea of the beauty and the wonder of the kind of love that comes from God when we talk about them. And so, would you mind, Bruce and Carolyn, just introducing yourselves a little bit? Maybe how long you've been in the parish, how long have you been married, children, things like that?
We've been married 50 years.
Yeah.
We have 3 children, 11 grandchildren, and we've been in this parish for 15 years. And
Okay.
prior to that, we were just a ways down the road at St. John the Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we were here, and then we had to move back into the Shorewood area, and we went back to St. John the Baptist, but we loved it here so much that we came back.
Oh,
It was just
great.
a wonderful, friendly parish.
Mm-hmm. Great. And you have kids too?
We do. We have three daughters,
Okay.
and they are all teachers.
Oh.
And we have 11 grandchildren, and we have 2 adopted from Guatemala who have gone back to one young woman has gone back to Guatemala, and she is raising her family there with her husband. And the other young man, Chris, he has gone his own way, kind of back just into another state.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else is fairly close,
Mm.
children and grandchildren,
Mm.
so it makes it wonderful for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you've been married for 50 years. It's beautiful. So to what do you attribute 50 years of marriage?
Letting Carolyn do most of the talking.
Okay.
Well, we figure one of the big things, of course, is love. We hold our faith very dearly, and with our children as well, and
Family.
family.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And so over those 50 years, what have you, maybe in the early years of marriage, what was helpful during that time and what was not helpful for you in your marriage?
Can I say something?
Yes, you can.
On this question, we really felt in the first few years of our marriage, our extended family was incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Also, our parents
Yeah.
and our faith.
Mm-hmm.
I was a convert,
Mm-hmm.
and so Carolyn was raised in the Catholic faith.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided, even before we got married, that we wanted to raise our children within the same faith.
Mm-hmm.
Consequently, I converted to Catholicism,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that certainly helped us a great deal in the early years.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the rocky areas, the biggest thing was learning to compromise and forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
So
So during those raising children, did you have, were there challenges in your own relationship? Just in terms of paying attention to each other? Because a lot of times I think when children come into the picture, at least, when I was growing up, my parents used to say, after the kids left, it was like, oh, who are you? Did you experience Anything that you had to do differently while you had children? Or raising children?
Well, I think possibly retirement, when your nest is emptied,
Yeah.
and anyone who has children have experienced that, you all of a sudden are spending a lot of time together. And yeah, there's no question, I think you have a tendency to get on each other's nerves at times. Carolyn and I both do sports, and we typically don't do them together.
Yeah.
So
Are
that,
you both competitive?
so that gave us an outlet.
Oh, sure.
We do a lot of things, there are things we enjoy doing together, but we had different choices in our sports, so that gave us a break.
Sure, sure.
When we first came here, there was a lady, and I don't know if I can mention her name, but it was Laura Sones, and she had been in the parish for years. And she was there was nothing quiet about Laura, and she kind of took me under her wing and got me involved in quite a few things. So we were just brought into this parish with so much kindness, I think. That's what I loved about it here. It was like a farming community. I didn't even know what hutch was. And people kept talking about hutch, and I thought, what in the world? And these wonderful ladies that had grown up on farms that we worked with, maybe it was on a funeral team or whatever. But if we had a rocky road, I mean, certainly we did. I will say we did. At one point, and it kind of came a little bit from my anxiety, and Bruce was a stronger person, and my social skills weren't as good as his. So I would say, and Bruce loved socializing. So maybe that would be the bigger thing that I would say was a little bit of a something to get through.
Sure.
Yeah. And we did make some wonderful friends here in this parish, and part of it, as you're aware of, is our golf league, which I think it's about 20 years now it's been going on, and unfortunately we have lost several.
Yeah. Would you call that a league or
We like to think of it as a league. I don't really recall that there was ever a period of time that I questioned my faith, and the fact that we raised our family in the Catholic religion, and church was something we never thought anything of other than going. I mean, it just wasn't a question.
Sure.
We're going to church, whether it's Saturday night or Sunday, and we always went to church as a family, and our girls have continued to do that. They're married to Catholic men. One of them is a convert. And they look to it as church as a cornerstone, something that you build your marriage on. Is a good cornerstone is your faith.
What made you decide to, become Catholic other than your marriage? Why did that? Because that was a sacrifice for you, because that's not the way you grew up.
Well,
was that difficult?
It wasn't difficult. It wasn't a difficult decision. I served in the military and always wanted to have some faith. And there wasn't always a place to go to church. I was on a ship for quite a while, and religion just really was not something that was readily available for you. And I know a lot of guys would talk about their faith, and I kind of felt a little bit like I was missing something. And when I got out of the service, I had some wilder years before I met Carolyn.
Pretty wild, I think.
And we started going to church right away. And I was very fortunate that when I chose to turn Catholic, I took my classes from now Bishop Carlson, and he was just a young priest. He was 2 years older than me, and I took my classes alone with him, and it was really helpful. It really, he was just a great teacher, and yeah, after that I really don't think I had questions.
What would you say to a young couple who's just starting out? What would be some of the advice you might give them to be able to stick with it for 50 years?
I would say myself, conversation with each other, to discuss the things that you're thinking and you're maybe not bringing forward, but yet internally they're bothering you. I do think your faith draws you together. What do you think?
Yeah, no, those are good points. We often will have conversations with friends or family members, and we're always amazed that we've told something to one of our daughters and their husband never gets the information.
Yeah.
And that never happens in our house. Nothing's new. I mean,
Yeah.
if I get something from one of the kids, I tell her, and vice versa,
Yeah.
or friends.
Yeah.
And we always wonder, how do you live in the same house and not know what the other person's doing? But,
Yeah. Yeah.
You
but
know-
advice, and that was the question, advice. And I think if you can do it, I definitely believe mutually having your faith, that's the cornerstone of building a good relationship. You share that one thing that you, if possible, can accept it for what it is and not try to change it or, just accept it as it is.
I do think for these young couples, though, when I think back, when you have young children, things are very different. Maybe you've got some young children at home and then young ones schooling. Bruce, we had a business, and so Bruce was gone 6 days a week. And there was many times where maybe things happened that unless I didn't share, he wouldn't have known. But we're sitting here at being married 50 years, and our children are grown, grandchildren are getting up there. But I look at these young mothers now that have kids going in every direction, and I think, oh my gosh, we were there, and I have kind of forgotten that. Hard to get them to religion class, hard to get them Mass on Sunday. My goodness, they want to play sports on Sunday, and if the kids don't come, that's hard. It's hard on the parents now. And I don't like to, I like to remember that because it looks easy when you get it when you're older, but you got to remember back to when it wasn't so easy.
Yeah. I think that's encouraging would be encouraging for people to hear, for young couples to hear.
Personally, I think that you have to develop a mindset that given time, all things get better. You have to be patient and be willing sometimes to accept change that you might not ordinarily have wanted to. But I think given time, all the sadness goes away. And you can, you learn from that. You're always learning.
Thank you,
You're
and
welcome.
congratulations on your 50 years of marriage. and many more. And happy Valentine's Day to all of you out there. And I hope that you have a wonderful day, and you've been blessed, as I have, to talk to Bruce and Carolyn Johnson. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Connie.